students. I am Dr. Tasha Singh, your course coordinator for Communication Research, BAGC 2019. So, here we are with another lecture on Communication Research, which is being run by School of Media and Communication Studies under the aegis of Calcutta University. So the topic that we are going to cover in this particular lecture will be meaning of research, objectives of research, and types of research. Well, when we talk about meaning of research, first let me tell you, meaning is basically described or expressed on the basis of the knowledge which is there with the individual. Okay, so when I will show an apple to a nursery child, so the nursery school kid will actually say that it's A for apple. But if you show that same thing to a dietitian, then she would say or he would say that this is something which is a best source of catalyzing our metabolism. It's a good fat cutter. So he would describe in a different sound in comparison to what the nursery kid was. So the idea behind giving you this example is that knowledge is the fundamental for expressing a meaning of particular thing. So when you know it, when you experience it, when you are learned, when you are aware of it, you are able to describe the meaning in different angles and tangents. Why? Because you have that much of knowledge of that particular phenomena or a subject. So when we talk about in simple form that what is the meaning of research, so research is basically defined as the creation of new knowledge and the use of existing knowledge in a new or creative way so that we can generate new concepts, methodologies and understanding. So this could include synthesis and analysis of previous research to the extent that it leads to a new and creative outcome. So this is in nutshell meaning of research, which is being given by the Department of Training and Education and Training from some organization. So this is the meaning of research. Well, we have another meaning for research, which is basically a careful consideration of study regarding a particular concern or problem using scientific methods. When you talk about scientific methods, it means that you are following a very systematic process to take up your research and reach to the final conclusion. And according to an American sociologist, his name was Earl Robert Bobby, he said that research is a systematic inquiry to describe, explain, predict, and control the observed phenomena. So, research involves both inductive and deductive methods, which we will be discussing in the later slides. Well, students, we have to understand the objectives of research. So, before we move with the objectives of the research, we should know that what is the aim of the research, then what are research questions and research hypotheses and objectives. So, according to David R. Thomas and Ian Hodges, the research aim is a statement indicating the general aim or purpose of a research project. Usually a research project will have only one broad aim. So you remember being a science student when we used to prepare our practical notebooks, we used to write aim, then we used to write method, then requirement, then we used to write the observations. So aim is basically one single target that we set that we want to actually achieve. That is called as aim. Then research objectives are what? They are basically specific statements which are indicating the key issues to be focused on a research project. Usually a research project will have several research objectives. So objectives are like, to reach to your aim, you will set certain objectives. Like you would say that, the study will examine this phenomena, the study will learn how the reaction comes from individual, the study will find XYZ phenomena. So these are various objectives which are statements that are developed by a researcher when he's taking up a research, so that the third person who is reading the study, research study, the project, will come to know that okay, this is the overall aim, that the person wants to maybe find the impact of television advertising on kids behavior, and then these are certain objectives that he has outlined, which the research has worked upon, which is helping him to reach to the final conclusion. Then you have certain research questions. Now what are research questions? Basically, whenever you do research, you actually have some problem statement, and those problem statements are basically the questions that are arised in your mind which you want to answer through your research study. So research questions are simple alternatives to research objectives, where the key issue is to be focused on the project that are stated in full form of questions, like how this has happened, what is the phenomena, what is the reason. Okay, so we are going to quote, well, first we will create objectives, Now, to answer those objectives, basically we had certain questions in our mind. That is why we have taken up the initiative of conducting a research study. So we will be framing the research questions. Now, next thing that you have is research hypothesis. Now, what is a hypothesis? Hypo is basically pre and thesis is basically an assumption. So pre-assumption, before taking up the research, if you assume something, if you presume something, so that presumption is called as hypothesis, which you would, because of your observation and your research study, you would use various methods to conduct it, and you will come to a conclusion whether your hypothesis is proved or you fail to reject it. So basically, hypothesis is the prediction of a relationship between two or more variables. Remember students, we discussed variables in the class. Basically, variables are the factors which help us in measuring the change. Okay, there could be qualitative variables and quantitative variables. Then there could be extraneous variable, there has to be dependent variable and independent variable. So when you talk about those dependent and independent variables, what we try to see is the cause and effect relationship. So in the hypothesis, we try to understand and predict the relationship between two or more variables, and using the prediction, the effect of independent variable on dependent variable, we prepare certain hypotheses, and then we check whether what we have presumed is turning out to be in the true form, or there is another thing, another phenomena which is happening. So then in the last we conclude that whether we have proved the hypothesis or we have failed to reject the hypothesis. So this is how we do it. So in my coming lectures also, we are going to dedicate full lectures on hypothesis, where we are going to talk about alternative hypothesis, null hypothesis, level of significance, 5% level of significance, 10% level of significance, all that will come. But for now, just understand that basically hypothesis is the statement developed to see a prediction of the relationship between the two or more variables which are there as the key ingredients of our research, and we are going to see what is the cause and effect of it. So this is hypothesis. Students, since I've explained you all those terms, now let us identify that what are the objectives of the research. Like if somebody is doing a research, then what are the objectives of that particular research? So research, why do we do research? To gain familiarity with the phenomena or to achieve new insights into the studies with which the object is in view, or termed as the exploratory or formulative research study. Earlier when there was no photosynthesis found, then what was it? We were trying to gain the familiarity with the phenomena of photosynthesis, and later on it was termed as photosynthesis. Why? Because we explored that how does the plant perform the process of photosynthesis to grow. So earlier it was not known, so research was done to pursue it, to understand the phenomena. So it is basically an exploration which was done, or a formulative research study it was done, right? Then to portray accurately the characteristics of particular individual, situation or group, that is studies with this object in view, to be known as descriptive research study. So when we talk about explorative research study, it is something we are unknown, we are not familiar with the phenomena, and we are trying to explore that what the phenomena is. But the next stage that comes is the descriptive research study, where we actually see the characteristics of each and every individual or key elements or ingredients which are involved in it. So like if we just take a simple example of photosynthesis, which we all have learned right from standard 5. So we know that photosynthesis is a process in which the plant synthesize energy, that is light energy, from the solar system, that is sun, and it transforms it into energy which helps it to grow. So it basically creates food, okay, with the help of the sun. So that is photosynthesis. Now when you talk about the descriptive research in that term, so you will be then going in the details that how each and every element is acting together to get this process done successfully. So that will be a description of that entire cycle, and we have studied there has been a diagrammatic representation given of how photosynthesis happens. Okay, so that is descriptive study. Then the third objective of the research is to determine the frequency with which something occurring or with which something is associated with. So studies with this object in view are known as diagnostic research studies. Diagnostic is like here we are going to diagnose that how and what is the frequency of this particular phenomena. So we have to, if we talk about photosynthesis, we will have to check that in a daytime, in one entire day, how many times or what is the frequency of this particular process occurring with the particular species of plants. Okay, so this is a diagnostic study. So research studies, the objective of the research is to explore, then two objective of the research is to describe the phenomena, then third is to diagnose the phenomena, and the fourth objective is to test a hypothesis of a causal relationship between variables, and such studies are known as hypothesis testing research studies, or we can also call them as experimental studies. Okay, so basically research is all about form exploring, research is all about describing, research is all about diagnosing, and research is all about experimenting to see the cause and effect relationship, because if we make certain change in one agent, then what is the effect, how will be the outcome. Okay, so this is how we check, and this is the objectives of the research. Fine, I hope it was clear to you. So students, now we have to understand the types of research. Broadly, there is a two classification. There's two broad classification for research. One is called as basic research and another is called as applied research. So let us understand what is basic research. See, it is designed to add organized knowledge to the body of scientific knowledge. Then it does not necessarily produce results of immediate practical value. It is either concerned with the formulation of the theory or contributes to the existing body of knowledge. It is also termed as fundamental or pure research, and its chief concern is to discover knowledge for the sake of knowledge and not for the sake of application of finding or even for their social usefulness. Simply put, basic research is generally done for academic purpose. Like I have been explaining in the classes also, that basic research, as the name suggests, is a kind of a research where we are trying to add new knowledge to the existing phenomena. And I've given you example of like the theories of mass communication that we have. So earlier, the first basic research which was performed by Aristotle, where he has given us a formula, that is a model of communication, which had only three elements: the speaker, the speech, and the audience. And then it was further researched by Harold de Lasswell, where he has given us five elements of communication. Then it was further researched by Shannon and Weaver, where they have added a noise factor to it, right? So likewise, there has been development in the existing knowledge, additions to the existing knowledge, and this was not done for some practical purpose. This was done for creating basic fundamental knowledge of what is the process of communication. Okay, so this is how we can describe what is a basic research, which is done for academic purpose. Basic research is also called as theoretical research, academic research, pure research, fundamental research, and syndicate research. Why theoretical research? Because the outcome is either a theory or a model. Why pure research? Because the intention is not to earn money out of it, to commercialize it, but the intention is to just attain more clarity in the subject, attain new aspects of the subject. And why it is called as fundamental? Because we are trying to explore something, we are doing it at a very basic level, so that we come up with some new aspect in that particular subject. Okay, and it is also called as syndicate research, because you are trying to fix something, to establish something, and therefore you are syndicating through your research, that this is also one of the aspects of the subject. Okay, so that is why these are the other names for basic research. Well, now if we understand what is applied research, so applied research aims at improving a theory, product, or a process. It is testing of theoretical concept in specific problem situations. So the line is very important. This statement says that whatever we have theorized or whatever we have come up as a theory, now we have to see the real life application. Is it also really applicable in the human society? Like if I say models of communication, so are those models of communication really in the true state being applicable when we are talking with people, when there is a public communication going on? Is there a feedback role? Is there a noise coming in between? So to see the true applications of whatever theories that we develop, we conduct applied research. Okay, and it is also called as action research, because it is not much concerned about development of theory. Why? Theory development is done in basic research, or we have to actually, it is concerned itself with an immediate problem in specific settings. If there is a problem, then we go for conducting a research, so that we can find some good long run far sighted solution which could help us in establishing and setting up and fixing up the problem. Okay, then action research aims at improving the social reality. So it is basically the practical aspect of what you find in your basic research. Its finding can be carried into effects by the administrator or sometimes even the layman. So whatever findings you have in your applied research, you try to apply it, use it, and it is being generally even used by a layman. It emphasizes therefore in one experience in which the administrator or the layman can participate creatively in the research process. While pure research is done outside specialists, action research is done by those who are taken to evaluate their own work situation. All the marketing research, all the advertising research that are there conducted in the field of journalism and mass communication are examples of applied research. Okay, when I say that, if I want to launch a product, so we will be first trying to see whether there is a feasibility of this kind of a product or not. Take for simple example, earlier, if you remember, your grandparents and your parents, they never used body lotions because body lotions were not in the market. In the Indian market, they were not there. All were using coconut oil. Why? Because of the climate, we need to, moisturize our skin. But gradually, the foreign companies, they thought of introducing body lotions over here, which could replace these existing oils. But now these oils were very beneficial. So how did they transform the mentality that why you should use moisturizers? So there was heavy advertising done for that thing. So before coming up with this long project of establishing body lotions in the Indian market so that people use it, and not only the elite class but the common man also start using it. So for that they did a very extensive study, which was applied study. And what would be the application? The application was that they wanted to launch body lotions which could replace the cheaper option, the more beneficial option, that is oil. So somewhere we had to play with the mindset of the people that yes, body lotions are much better and you should go for them. Because still I would say that the conventional methods, the old traditional methods of using coconut oil for moisturizing the body during winters is much better in comparison to using the moisturizers. But we all have now shifted to moisturizers, reason being that we have been brainwashed in a way that these are the modern things and this should be used, the foreigners use it, the actors use it. Why we go for celebrity endorsement? Because somewhere we want to persuade the audience that see, when your actors whom you think, whom you admire, whose skin you appreciate is using a body lotion, so you should also go for it. So all this is form of applied research, where the application of a particular research problem and the result has to be quickly seen so that we can fix the problem and we can replace and bring change in the market. So this is one simple example of explaining you applied research. It has got nothing to do with theory generation. What is being done? We were trying to introduce body lotions in the Indian market and replace the cheaper option, which was oil, which was much more beneficial, but we wanted to make a lucrative market for body lotions in India. So this is one example of applied research. Applied research are also called as utilitarian research, action research, and customized research. Why utilitarian? Because you're utilizing it for a short span of time, and that particular research, after the result is out and executed, is redundant for us because time changes, generation changes, perception changes. So you cannot reuse the findings that were done in particular applied research, because for another project you will have to go for a fresh survey, because the problem and the time and the sample unit, that is the audience mindset, has evolved and they have become more intelligent, and now you have to find something with the present context. So you cannot use the earlier research. But you can see that in academic research we are still considering the Aristotle model for our research. Why? Because that is not redundant. But this research is for a short span of time, it is goal specific, it is individual specific, area specific, and therefore it is utilitarian. Like a disposable utensil, once you use it you have to throw, you cannot use it again and again. Okay, because now the value of that disposable is finished. So this is why, that is why we called applied research as utilitarian research. Apart from that, we call it action research. Why? Because we have to quickly convert the findings into execution. So there has to be an action which is oriented, which is connected with it. And why is it customized? Because we are customizing it as per the requirement of the client. We are keeping it very confidential also. We are not even sharing it. Why? Because only the client who is paying us for that particular project will be given the findings so that he can utilize for his product betterment and his product establishment or image building or whatever. Okay, so that is why it is called as customized research. So I hope you have understood that why it is called as utilitarian, action and customized research. Students, in many books, and I also discussed earlier that one of the types of research is also called as inductive and deductive research. Although in approaches also somebody says that inductive and deductive are also approaches. So like in some books it is described as approaches, which we will discuss in coming lectures. In some books it is described as types of research. So let me just explain you what is inductive and deductive research or inductive or deductive reasoning, so that you understand the concept. And either if you want, you can place it in two types of research, or you can also place it into approaches of research. In both the ways it will be correct, because the idea behind inductive and deductive is basically inductive research aims at developing theory, which is the nature of what? Basic research. And deductive research is aimed at testing an existing theory, so which is basically the nature of action research or applied research. So this is the key difference between inductive and deductive, that inductive reasoning moves from specific observation to broad generalization, while deductive reasoning is the other way around, that is from generalization to specific observation. Okay, then both approaches are used in various types of research, and it is not uncommon to combine them in one lecture study. So even in one study you can have both inductive research as well as deductive uh, objectives also. So there could be theory development, there could be theory testing, both the things could be combined. Although inductive is induct, that is theory development, and deduct is to deduct whether the theory that you have developed is applicable in the real life situations or not. So this is inductive, from observations to generalization, and deductive is from generalization to observation. That is, we have to see whether this theory is practically applicable or not. I hope you have understood induct and deduct. Okay. So let us have the summary of this lecture. Curiosity is the basic motivation for research, and all research is a quest of ordered and systematic knowledge. Again and again I am emphasizing the word systematic. It means research is something which is very logical and scientific in nature, and it is run with a process which we will study in the research process in the coming lectures. And it may be observational study of natural phenomena, or a rational study of the relation between the concepts in which these phenomena are expressed. Knowledge is gathered, organized and systematized. Then tested and validated with the help of research tools. What are research tools? We have various research tools to collect the data: questionnaires, schedule, interview, FGDs, MGDs, that is focus group discussion, mini group discussions. These are the various research tools that you have in your hands, and we will be discussing them in the coming lectures, of course. And research often starts with observation. An observation is an intelligent way of making use of our sensory apparatus, and it provides an insight to know in precise the result will be more reliable. In addition to observation, many other research tools and methods are used, which we will be discussing in the coming lectures. So here are your questions for practice. What is the key difference between basic and applied research? Then discuss the example of the inductive research. Then suggest good and recent research papers on types of research, because there might be some new types of research that has been evolved by researchers and scholars. So you will have to identify them by searching recent and good papers on types of research. I hope you like the lecture, students. So in this lecture we discussed about types of research, meaning of research and objectives of research. I hope you have understood it. If not, you can easily contact me anytime, and I'm there to help you and resolve your queries over this lecture. Thank you so much. Wish you a very happy learning. Bye bye.